PL 1975. Adequate notice of the meeting has been given by publishing notice in the record. Furthermore, notice was posted in the Borough of Richfield Municipal Building. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Jimenez.
Here.
Councilwoman Haley.
Here.
Councilman Catolios.
Here.
Councilman Rim.
Here.
Councilman Kim.
Here.
Councilman Raimondo.
Here.
Councilman Jafar.
Please stand for our pledge of allegiance. And I'm going to ask all of our receivers of certificates, please lead us to the first one.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and leave over those who passed away since our last meeting. I also wanted to take a moment to recognize our county surrogate, Michael Dressler, who passed away this past week. I got to meet him a couple of times. He was a nice man. He helped me out in a time of need. And let's just remember him for a moment. Thank you. Just skip over a couple of things on the agenda and then go right to we're going to start with the football team. Is there on this one?
Yeah, the football team unfortunately will not be here because Cliffside Park also had their awards night tonight, so that's where the football team is now.
Okay, Angelique or Dartmouth? Or Dartmouth? Hold on, Theo, can I borrow you a second? Sure. Joe Malonga's not here. Usually I get him to take pictures. He's so kind to.
Yeah, they'll take it.
Get my good side, please. Always, always. And Thea Sofakis? Isabella Ramos. Ether Moyes. Eliana Alvarez, girls soccer. Stephanie Amador.
I also want to mention and acknowledge Stephanie too because she was selected for the NGIC Girls Soccer All-Star Team.
Antonella Zoccali. girls tennis, Mill for Hitomi, girls tennis first team. Charlotte LeBron, girls tennis second team. Allison Escobar, girls tennis honorable mention. Jasmine Avila, the girls tennis first team. Cross country, Elliot Pio. Dion Castrati, boys soccer first team. Gabriel Lopez, boys soccer honorable mention.
You can have the whole mayor council come down and all the people in color, take your picture. With your certificate, yeah.
Sorry, just a couple right up here.
Don't lower, ladies. Yeah, she'll just front of the table, yeah.
Anybody read one?
You guys are way more important than we are.
All right, everybody smile.
Figure it out.
Okay, let's all give them a round.
Okay, we'll just. Give away while the children exit. We're waiting for them to leave. I'm just going to talk about some correspondence. I received a letter that we received the check from the New Jersey Sports Exposition Authority of $317,396 as our installment payment for our Meadowlands Commission money. I also received letters from John Catino regarding the planning board meeting on November 20th, saying that the two ordinance this passed The ordinances are consistent with the following sections of the master plan, each letter contains it. I also received since it's been a while since our last meeting, the October-November police report. They did a great job in October, giving out over 1,400 tickets. And November was a little bit lower, but there was the Thanksgiving Day holiday and parking was suspended. I think I'll have Joanna, you had some correspondence too?
Yep, each year our school guidance counselor at Bergen Boulevard School and Schiller Academy does guidance and wellness lessons with the students in both buildings, and they create holiday thank you cards for our first responders. So a batch of the cards were delivered to Officer Greg, who's our school resource officer, and I have tonight letters for our fire department and our ambulance corps. I'll be dropping the ambulance corps letters off tomorrow, but I'd like to give these to our two fire chiefs. I know we had two in the room. Chief Scott, Chief Gary, if you guys don't mind coming up, I'd like to give these to you.
I'm gonna go back. Are there anybody with citizens' comments on the agenda? Yes?
Exactly.
Good evening, Warren Vincent. I'm hoping, I see that there's going to be the presentation on the two ordinances regarding the low-income housing, and I'm hoping that the professionals are going to be here because I have some questions regarding the document that a lot of this is based on, the Housing Element and Fair Share Plan 4 report. So my first question is on Ordinance 2525, Block 2801, Lot 1. It's also known as 604 Broad Avenue. It's the former municipal building. Page 20 of the Housing Element and Fair Share Plan Round 4 reports the overlay zone where the affordable housing can be applied in and around the former municipal site. But the actual site is excluded. The actual municipal building site is excluded on page 20 of the housing development site area. Does this exclusion present a problem, and does it need to be addressed? Will this property and improvement pay real estate taxes? When it's done, who will own it? And is a pilot in consideration for this property? My next questions regarding Ordinance 2524, the group home, which will be a subdivision from blocks 401, lots 1 and 2, also known as the Maple Avenue property at Grant. This group home will be operated by Bergen County United Way, and a $153,071.10 pledge towards this group home has been obtained. Who will pay for the cost of building this, the additional cost of this group home? When completed, who will own the group home and the property? Will the group home pay real estate taxes? And if so, is a pilot in consideration for this subdivision of the property? My next comments have to do with multifamily apartments, which is the remainder of this subdivided parcel. Again, who will own this when it's completed? Will real estate taxes be assessed in a normal manner, or will the taxes be adjusted in any way because of the housing units? And again, is there a pilot in consideration for this property? Okay, change the subject, and I just happened to notice this, and I really haven't had a chance to look at it, but I stumbled on it, and it has to do with the transfers of money for the budget. And what jumped out at me, I'm looking. It jumped out at me. Stay with me. It's resolution 254, 2025, and $250,000 was transferred into the DPW salary and wages. That's a pretty big correction. Was something missed in the original estimate? Did something occur special to them? Okay, that's it from me.
Hugo, do you mind if I just make 2 comments?
What are they?
That we do not use the term low-income housing.
Yeah, I was about to say, it is affordable
I
housing.
just want to make sure that we're using correct terminology because some people have connotations associated.
And I believe here in the report, there are places where it reports it as low-income housing.
We're working on correcting those things.
Right.
And that, just to clarify, because there were some questions about this too, the group home by the United Way is for adults with disabilities.
Right.
So there was some misinformation spread about that. I just want to make sure everybody understands that it's not, some other type of housing, and we are advocating for Ridgefield residents who have children with disabilities or Ridgefield residents who are adults with developmental disabilities to maybe get priority on those spots. So that would be really great for our community.
Right, and there are 4 bedrooms.
Yep.
And 2 apartments for supervisors.
Correct. Yep.
So, okay.
It's a phenomenal facility that'll really help our community.
And you can see, I'm just looking what makes it continue to be phenomenal, and that is, who's gonna own it? Who's gonna maintain it? Property taxes.
Thank you.
So I'm on board with you.
Excellent.
All right, moving on. Anybody else has comments on the agenda? Okay, next we're going to have a presentation by the borough planner that might answer some of your questions. And I'll just tell you right now, there is no pilot included. All properties will be taxed by the tax assessor, whatever rate it's gonna be. There's no pilot in any agreement. So, David, welcome. You got to talk at our last planning board meeting. There was some questions, one of them by Mrs. Vincenz that I figure I'd bring it up, that is these gonna be condominiums or rental apartments? And I'll tell you what, why don't you take that question and the other questions you brought up, or whatever you want to say.
Sure, let me introduce myself. I'm David Trost. I'm a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey and a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. I work for DMR Architects. We are the special planner for redevelopment, which is why we're here tonight. We're doing an ordinance for a redevelopment plan amendment and a overlay zone to effectuate a compliance with the housing element, fair share plan, and the settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing for the 3rd round and the borough's 4th round obligation under the constitutionally mandated affordable housing requirements. So let me just go through what I'm going to say, and then hopefully I answer those questions. If I have not, I'm sure the gentleman in the audience will opine on that. First, ordinance number 2524. This is an overlay zone. It's consistent with the settlement agreement dated April 23, 2019. And what a overlay zone is it permits a certain use on specific property, and this happens to be affordable housing. The ordinance outlines permitted uses, which are multifamily apartments, group home, and supportive housing. There's typically customary permitted accessory uses, and there are regulations for each of those 2 uses. For the multifamily, there is a series of regulations dealing with lot area, setbacks, building coverage, building height, parking, and then of course the affordable housing requirement for the multifamily apartments will be 1 2-family apartment unit. The site is also anticipated to have a minor subdivision, which supportive housing in the group home will be part of. There's a set of standards that regulate how that can be developed, including setbacks, lot area, etc. And they will have 4 bedrooms and then 2 one-bedroom units on the second floor. They will meet the UHAC standards for housing, and they are consistent with your master plan as determined by the planning board in the November meeting where I presented these ordinances. The second ordinance has to do with an amendment to a redevelopment plan, which was authorized by this council, and specifically for block 2801, lot 1. It's 604 Broad Avenue. And what we did with the amendment is we permitted multifamily housing standalone as a permitted use within the redevelopment plan. Kept all the other options in there. This again, there are standards that have been placed for development and the density consistent with the master plan and consistent with the settlement agreement that was agreed upon by the borough and the applicant. Also approved by Judge Farrington, the assignment judge of Bergen County Superior Court, who was involved in this and approved of the 2 ordinances. There was also an adjudicator assigned by the court that has been part of this process with the borough, who has also put their blessing on this. So these 2 documents have been reviewed by the planning board, have been introduced by you, approved by you on first reading, and now the second reading is here where you're open for public comment. If you have specific questions on the details of that, I can get into that. I didn't think that was appropriate at this time, since this has been out and vetted at the planning board and at the council.
We brought up the fact that the Old Town Hall property, that the overlay does not include the building. I don't think that's correct.
I looked on page 20, I don't see anything that says that. Because I have the housing element right here.
That was part of the master plan review, and we put
Okay.
the entire property on an overlay to account for this.
Yes, the redevelopment plan supersedes this.
So, I'm sorry, I missed the answer on that overlay.
The redevelopment plan is specifically for this piece of property.
So it
Which
corrects
is
this
part of-
overlay?
Yes.
It corrects the overlay, okay.
Does anybody else have any questions?
In closing, I would just like to say, Mayor, I've been doing this for over 40 years. This is round 4 now. I think I was in round 1 and 2. You guys are ahead of the curve. You've done a good job. I commend you that as a professional and someone that's been involved with this a very long time. And it takes courage and it takes perseverance to do the right thing. You've got a variety of housing that will meet the citizens of the borough as well as the region. And we always try to get our citizens the first crack. Unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't always work out, but there's always good intentions, and we've got a great organization with United Way. I have worked with them in the past, and I see nothing but success for both of these projects moving forward.
Say, hold on.
Just to make sure, so you're referring to mediation agreement for the affordable housing
see these two
Yes.
you're referring to?
Yes.
Until our oral attorney review these agreements, and he doesn't have, Joe, you don't have any
We're gonna
concern?
talk about
Okay.
the club.
Okay, okay. As long as our attorney review, that's fine.
Always recommend, I'm not an attorney.
I have a question as well. Just, for, the public information purposes, how many affordable housing units we can expect to gain from those two projects?
Okay, I want to make sure I get this correct. Not counting the bonus credits, because I don't have that, that you apply, and that's a separate standard. But you're gonna get, the credits from the group home and the supportive housing in the overlay zone. So that's 4, that's 5, 6. One more. You'll get one unit in the market rate apartments on that site as well. So that's 7 for the overlay zone, the redevelopment plan. That was a question I should have anticipated and didn't. Okay, the affordable housing set aside is 15% of the units if it's for rental. So it depends on how many units are built. They have a concept plan, but that's not necessarily what will eventually get built because they have to meet the standards. So let me see how many units they're proposing.
I think you're good with 7.
No. I'm seeing 31 units of, and if I can read this. One 3-bedroom affordable unit. I'm sorry, I can't, but 15% of 31. So 10 would be 3. So about 4 or 5 units, depending on how many are actually approved and then constructed.
Is the 15% total percentage we can expect out of, these two projects?
Yes, so I think there's about probably 11, 12 units.
Okay, so is the 15%
15% for rental. If it was a for sale project, which is totally up to the developer, then it would be a 20% set aside.
I see. So like my question now is, is a 15% enough, sufficient? Or, this, the stage 4 of the, the home approval project?
We have, Councilman, I'm sorry, I don't mean to step in.
Sure.
We have 2 agreements that we're gonna talk about in closed session. One of them is a mediation agreement to resolve the challenge that we have in fair share housing regarding all of our obligations through round 4. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we do have a proposal on the table to make sure that we're compliant and resolve the challenge that fair share has filed.
Any other questions?
What I can say is the norm is rental, the norm, which is usually the standard everybody tries to go by, 15% for rental, 20% set aside for sale.
David, I would ask if you stick around just in case anybody else has questions.
I can do
Just
that.
for a little while. And I wanted to address the $153,000 that would be paid to the United Way. When developers do work in town, they have to put into the Affordable Housing Fund. And it's based on the property or the percentage of the development. We do have money in there, and it was in the agreement that we would take part of that money and give it to the United Way to help them It was supposed to help them buy the land so they can build this group home, but since the developer is donating the land to them, they're going to be using it to construction costs, and United Way will be responsible for the construction costs. Richfield is not responsible for building the building. It is only responsible for doing a tax assessment and collecting taxes. None of these properties will be owned by Richfield once it's all done.
Who would own that?
Excuse me, we'll wait. Let me open up the hearing. If you can sit down, we're going to open it up to questions. Okay. Madam Clerk, hearing 2524.
As advertised, hearing will be held on ordinance 2524 entitled an ordinance of the Borough of Ridgefield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing chapters 115 and 390 of the Borough Code to create a Maple Avenue, Grand Avenue affordable housing zone, to implement the borough's round 3 affordable housing settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing and the borough's round 4 affordable housing and Fair Share plan dated June 18, 2020.
Can I get a motion to open the hearing?
Motion.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, who'd like to speak? Mr. Martucci.
Not gonna be too long here, I just think, I'd like to, maybe for everybody in the room, I know parking's been a big discussion, and I'm just trying to analyze all this here. I see something about parking requirements, saying 1.5 spaces per unit, so I'm just curious, maybe you can elaborate a little bit on the parking situation?
No, the requirement for the apartments is one and a half units per unit. There are affordable units as well. The standard for affordable units based on Rutgers is significantly lower in use. Affordable units are located in places close to transportation. There's bus lines, there's other means of transportation. The last thing we want to do is put affordable housing where people have to own 2 cars. That makes absolutely no sense. Unfortunately, sometimes that does happen in New Jersey. But the standard is based on not only the experience of myself, but also the firm GMR, who's done redevelopment and this type of development all over the state of New Jersey. It's also based on Rutgers' analysis of projects of multifamily in nature, where the 1.5 is sufficient for parking for this type of use.
I'm just curious, what is 0.5 space?
That means you have 10, if you had 10 units, you'd have to have 10 times 1.5, and that would be the total. Yes. I know sometimes
So each unit doesn't necessarily have a spot?
Yes, they do. They will.
1.5, okay, so some will have 2, okay, I got it, 1.5. Yep. The multiplier.
Mm-hmm.
And how many EV spots? Electric vehicle?
That is according to the code. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but the ordinance is referenced in that ordinance, and they have to comply with the number of spaces that are required. I would venture to say it's probably 2, based on my experience, but not 100% sure.
So, the both project will include, the EV spots.
Absolutely. As well as spots that comply with the American Disabilities Act, which also include that one of the charging units has to be available to those spaces as well.
Chris, anything else? Okay.
Just so the council, most of these terms we agreed to in the purchase sale agreement and the redevelopers agreement that you all approved back in July. So even like if we go in later, like a lot of the terms are just gonna be memorializing what we were agreed to.
Yes, Lauren. David, come.
I get my steps in, it's okay. I got a few more to go here.
I may have missed the answer and I apologize. Who's going to own the group home? They will be the owners? And the operators, okay. I just wanted to see who's going to own
I'm
just
sorry,
have one
we'll,
question. It's a really quick one.
Sure.
Listen, I know this is
Address.
a wonderful thing, and I'm really excited, especially being a special educator. I'm so excited to be here.
Name and address.
Patricia Congleton, 400 Abbott Avenue, Richfield, New Jersey. My question is, okay, this is wonderful, and we do need affordable housing. What are we going to do with the influx of families in our schools to support the more people that are going to be coming? I'm sure you guys are going to come up with a plan for that. I'm sure you're going to work with the Board of Ed about this. But as a parent, and I know somebody involved in our community, I would like you to make sure you highlight that situation.
Yeah, I did talk with Dr. Analo, the superintendent, and this was after, there is a formula to determine how many kids might add.
Right.
And Dr. Analo did say he can take, as long as it's not in the same grade, he can take an extra 100 kids right now, but as long as it's not in the same grade. But there's the number that we're estimating to bring in, because a lot of these apartments are studios or one bedroom. And we do have an ordinance that says you have to have so much space for each person living. So the only apartments, I think, that would have kids are the 2 bedrooms, and they might have 2 kids. So the calculations, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was less than 20 kids from all of this.
I know this was a question coming up, so I figured let me be the open
Yeah,
and suggest
it came up before, and that's why I talked to Dr. Analo.
Awesome.
But he's okay with 20 kids coming in.
Right, all right, let's do this then. All right.
Anybody else? Okay, can I get a motion to close the hearing?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll read it.
Be it ordained by the Borough Council of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Ridgefield that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the Borough of Ridgefield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing chapters 115 and 390 of the Borough Code to Maple Avenue, Grand Avenue Affordable Housing Zone to implement the borough's Round 3 Affordable Housing Settlement Agreement with Fair Share Housing and the borough's Round 4 Affordable Housing and Fair Share Plan dated June 18, 2025, introduced on the 10th day of November 2025, do now pass a final reading and be adopted, and that the borough clerk be and she is authorized and directed to publish once the aforesaid title together with the notice of its passage on final reading and approval thereof in the record of newspaper circulating in the borough of Ridgefield.
Roll call.
Councilman Compton Haley?
Yes.
Councilman Catilios?
Yes.
Councilman Rowe?
Yes.
Councilman Kim?
Yes.
Councilman Ramondo?
Yes.
Councilman Paul?
Okay, now we're gonna have hearing for 2525.
As advertised, hearing will be held on ordinance number 2525 entitled An Ordinance of the Borough of Ridgefield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, adopting an amendment to the redevelopment plan for block 2801, lot 1, 604 Broad Avenue on the tax map of the Borough of Ridgefield.
Can I get a motion to declare the hearing open?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody like to come up and talk to this? Anybody? Okay, can I get a motion to declare the hearing, time for hearing closed?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Be it ordained by the Borough Council of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Ridgefield that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the Borough of Ridgefield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, adopting an amendment to the redevelopment plan for block 2801, lot 1, 604 Broad Avenue on the tax map of the Borough of Ridgefield, introduced on the 10th day of November 2025, to pass the final reading and be adopted, and that the Borough Clerk be and she is authorized and directed to publish once the aforesaid title, together with the notice dated for passage on final reading and approval thereof in the record of newspaper circulating in the Borough of Ridgefield.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Compton Haley?
Yes.
Councilman Catilios?
Yes.
Councilman Rowe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim?
Yes.
Councilman Ramondo?
Yes.
Councilman Jafar?
Okay, introduction of ordinance number 2526.
Be it ordained by the Borough Council of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Ridgefield that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance Amending Chapter 133 Anti-Bullying Policy, Procedures, and Programs of the Code of the Borough of Ridgefield, introduced on the 8th day of December 2025, to now pass a first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a public hearing at a meeting of the Borough Council to be held at the Municipal Complex, 700 Shella Boulevard, on the 29th day of December 2025 at 6 o'clock p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, with the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish in the record newspaper circulating in the Borough of Ridgefield, said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and at the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Constance Haley.
Emphatically, yes.
Councilman Conchalios.
Yes.
Councilman Rhodes.
I think this ordinance needs a further discussion. No.
Councilwoman Kim.
Yes.
Councilman Raimondo.
Yes.
All items listed are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Borough Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless the council member so requested, in which case the items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. One motion signifies the adoption of all resolutions and approval of applications and minutes. 245, overpayment of taxes, 754 Norman Road. 246, notice of intention to purchase United Rentals. 247, Bergen County Community Development Grant, Kingsland Avenue Improvements Projects. 248, appoint school crossing guards. 249, NJDOT, LFIS 2026, Pleasant View Terrace and surrounding roadways improvement projects, Phase 2. 250, support Revolution NJ America's semi-quincentennial celebration. 251, authorize mayor to sign TWA 1 application. 252, tax lien redemptions of 5 Broad Avenue. 253, appoint RFQ evaluation committee.
Motion?
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Constance Haley.
Yes.
Councilman Catolios.
No to 253, yes to the rest.
Councilman Rhodes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim.
Yes.
Councilman Raimondo.
Yes.
Councilman Sparks.
Transfer appropriations.
Whereas NJSA 40A:4-58 allows appropriation transfers during the last 2 months of the calendar year should it become necessary to expend for any of the purposes specified in the budget an amount in excess of the respective sums appropriated therefore, and there shall an excess in any appropriations over and above the amount deemed to be necessary to fulfill the purpose of such appropriation, the governing body may by resolution setting forth a act adopted by less than 2/3 vote of the full membership thereof transfer the amount of such excess to those appropriations deemed to be insufficient. No transfers may be made to appropriations for continuing expenses or deferred charges. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Ridgefield are desirous of executing such transfers, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Ridgefield that the chief financial officer is herewith directed to execute the attached calendar year 2025 budget appropriation transfer.
Motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Constance Haley.
Yes.
Councilman Catolios.
Yes.
Councilman Rhodes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim.
Yes.
Councilman Raimondo.
Yes.
Okay, warrants.
Be it resolved that warrants totaling $2,886,772.56 be drawn on the following accounts. Current $2,498,532.23, plus $51,625.26, capital $312,653.07, pool $550, community grants $500, road license $25.20, cover $18,088.50, interfund $4,798.30, total $2,886,772.56.
Motion?
Second.
Councilwoman Constance Haley.
Yes.
Councilman Catolios.
Yes.
Councilman Rhodes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim.
Yes.
Councilman Raimondo.
Yes.
Councilman Jacob.
So I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. It's been a while since our last meeting. Had a healthy and fulfilling Thanksgiving, I did. On Wednesday, December 3rd, we had our annual tree lighting ceremony. The fourth grade class of Slocum came and sang, and they did an excellent job. And I think I went a little overboard. I told them they didn't have homework on Christmas Day. I don't know, I haven't heard any backlash yet from the principal, but I'd like to thank everybody involved, such as the Rec Commission, DPW, police, fire, all the departments, and of course our very own Ray Ramirez, our Borough Administrator and Rec Director, as well as the Recreation Committee as well. We also have another Christmas event on Saturday, December 20th at the Community Center. Santa will be there again to take pictures with children starting at 10 a.m. Then there will be a performance by the Richfield Players at 11, and then 12 p.m. I will be reading a story to the kids. I have to pick out a story. On Thursday, December 4th, I was able to attend the grand opening ceremony for Suki and Judy Hair Salon, which opened recently on Broad Avenue, right across the street from it's right by Shale Boulevard, by H Mart. So this is our last regular meeting of the year. As agreed upon, we'll have our sign and dine meeting on Monday, December 29th at 6 p.m. And just to confirm everybody, we did discuss having our reorganization meeting for 2026 on Monday, January 6th at 6 p.m., not 6 a.m., Mr. Martucci. What? It's Monday the 5th?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, good. All right, before I said, okay, January 5th, Monday, January 5th at 6 p.m. And finally, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and a Happy Holidays to everybody. Joanna?
Thank you, Peter. I also want to thank everyone who participated in our tree lighting. It was fantastic. We counted over 600 residents and community members, not including all those fourth graders who were singing so loudly. I also want to thank our sponsors from that event, Ridgeco Properties, Piccolo's Gastronomia Italiano, Gino Raimondo, and Heidi Nolasco. They did a great job. They were able to help us fund this event fully. So thank you all for that. Great job, sponsors. And it was another phenomenal interdepartmental collaboration. Our Parks Department, Billy, Tommy, our DPW, our police, our fire department, and especially Ray, who keeps us all together on this. So thank you, Ray. Breakfast with Santa, like Mayor Hugo mentioned, is on December 20th. We have a flyer out. We'll be posting it all over the borough. We hope that you can make it. It's another free event in the borough. Our recreation department will be hosting that. We're excited about that one. On December 14th, it's a Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., we're going to be hosting a shoe donation distribution event from the Walk with Serenity program. So we are excited to now take some of those shoes that we've collected, gently used, and some brand new. They're really phenomenal. If you know anyone in need, children, adults, who could use a new pair of shoes this holiday season, that's going to be your event. And we'll be putting that flyer out in the next couple of days. Also, from me personally, thank you to everyone who helped with our ornaments for the borough this year. We collected over 500 ornaments from our schools, our Girl Scouts, our library, our community center, Borough Hall, although I only got like one from Borough Hall. I love you all, but we'll work on that for next year. We put those ornaments up at the town tree and at the Winter Wonderland tree at Vanson Park. So please, if you happen to be in the area, if you're going to the Winter Wonderland, look at the Ridgefield tree. It's got cute little snowflakes. It says Ridgefield. It was a lot of ornaments, but they are up, and it's a really nice way that we represent our community working together and coming together. We have the RBAO spring t-ball, softball, baseball going on right now, as well as recreation basketball signups. We are doing Recreation League and Travel League team evaluations all this week. So if you haven't gone on Community Pass yet, please jump on and make sure you're signing up your kindergarten through 8th graders. We are also continuing into getting our boards and organizations ready for next year. So if you know somebody who's interested in joining a committee, please have them reach out to me, a member of the mayor and council, and we'll try to get them on for our reorg agenda. I just want to also take a moment to thank our anti-bullying committee. We had an ordinance for this group that was written more than a decade ago and was a little bit antiquated and left out kind of what the anti-bullying committee does. And instead what was in there is things that were in some cases illegal and not necessarily what the anti-bullying committee has jurisdiction over. So this committee has been working actually since last year, but really ramping up in the last 6 months. They took time out of their schedules. They went to extra meetings. They sat down for hours on end and really amended an ordinance that didn't work into something that we should all be proud of. So I wanted to thank the anti-bullying committee members, or quite a few of you in the audience tonight, thank you to those of you who worked on that. Thank you for making that committee so strong and so supportive of our community. I've worked with you all for the last 3 years, and I hope to continue to do that because you're doing some fantastic work.
Thank you.
And finally, on a personal note, we have a lot of really great holiday events that go on in our borough that aren't necessarily borough sponsored, but still a big part of our community. On December 20th, we're really excited that the Knights of Columbus and St. Matthew's Church are going to be doing an event over at St. Matthew's. It's an entire winter festival, and it's my little plug that we are doing a Christmas pageant. It will be with all of our children in our Sunday school CCD program. They are adorable. They have been practicing for a month. They cut little shepherds and Jesus and Mary, and it is a religious event, but all are welcome to attend. The performance of the play is at 5:30, and then there'll be a tree lighting afterwards too. So there's a great community event if you'd like to come. Again, that is separate from the borough, but still a really great way to come out, support our local groups, our local church, and I hope to see you there. It'll be a really, really nice event. Also, happy holidays. Enjoy celebrating whatever it is that you celebrate. Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Festivus for the rest of us. And we hope you have a great winter season. We'll see you on the 29th. Thank you.
I do respect, the ideas of, the anti-bullying committee, and also appreciate, all your dedication. However, I against one committee gains more power and more involvement, especially in this sensitive time. Because I have heard a lot of disagreement for our Christmas tree lighting event, and I don't want it to happen again and again and again. So, to me, understand, obviously, yes, the idea is there, and I know it's a great idea. However, the method, how you approach to change the identity of the community should have done like a different way. For instance, maybe discuss further during the workshop session, then bring up to our table. That's what I was talking about. Again, I appreciate your dedication and hard work. I'm not pointing out the members of the anti-bullying committee, just the method to apply changing the identity, just I couldn't agree with that.
Just wanted to thank our Borough Administrator Ray for making the Christmas decorations possible this year, and our borough employees that all participated in putting them up. I was able to participate in putting a ornament on our tree, on the borough tree, the actual borough hall tree, on Friday with a bunch of our staff and employees. That was fun interacting with them. I participated. I want to thank everybody for the Christmas tree lighting. It was a big success. Racing, all the kids, grabbed hot chocolate and popcorn and everything else. I participated this past Sunday with, or I believe it was Saturday, with the fire. I helped escort on the rescue truck, Santa Claus around town. So it was great seeing all the kids get a kick out of that. Also, thank everybody, and have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays.
Right?
I see Russ Lupino from VNR in the audience. Russ, thank you for working with the borough and with Tom Toronto from the United Way for not only helping us with our affordable housing requirements, but also a smart development that benefits everybody, residents, developers, and the town as well. That's what happens when everybody works together and makes a great plan. So thanks again for that, and to DMR Architects as well. Your knowledge and your experience with all this stuff is greatly valued. Since Colin brought up the point, I'm just going to reminisce. I was sitting in the audience as a private citizen at the time. I wasn't a councilman yet. And a young lady came to the council meeting with her parents. She was attending Richfield High School. And she was in tears. And she came up to the podium and gave a heartfelt testimonial of how she was bullied. And nobody really paid attention. Nobody advocated for her. And she came to the borough for help. So at the time, Mayor Anthony Suarez was very sympathetic and proactive because his own daughter Laura was bullied in these schools as well. So he identified with it. And that was the formation of the Anti-Bullying Committee and the whole objective to that. And I don't know where antiquated it is, but you know, the thing is to advocate for people that are bullied. And not just bullied in school, but bullied on social media, bullied, you know, in politics, bullied amongst each other, bullied at work. You know, that's what the Anti-Bullying Committee was formed for. So, you know, I hope we get back to actually doing anti-bullying because that's what it was formed for.
The beauty of the changes to the ordinance.
I have the microphone, Joanna. I have a microphone. You got to speak. Thank you. Thank you. You can make comments, but that's the truth, and that's what happened, and I was here. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, a festivus for the rest of us. And 45 years ago tonight, John Lennon was murdered at the Dakota. If you were around and you remember where you were at the time, and then the day after, it was a very sad day in Richfield at Skews Middle School, where my teachers brought Beatles records to school, and we all just cried and remembered about what a great man we lost. So just keep John Lennon in your thoughts and prayers tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, and good to see all of you. I see familiar faces and new faces as well. Yeah, this is my repertoire, you know, before I make my speech. But I do mean it because as a council member, I personally feel this is a huge commitment to show up every time there's a mayor and council meeting. I have to do it, you know, because I'm a member of council. But you don't have to, but you still do. Why? Because you care. You want to see changes. You want to bring differences from the past. And I believe we're definitely going towards improvement, betterment of our town. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Chris Martucci. He's going to be our new member next year. I'm very excited to work with him. And although we're sorry to see Jimmy, I'm sure he's going to, you know, continuously involved with the town affairs and help us run the government, you know, friendly and efficiently together.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. So this is what I expect. You know, the resident of Richfield voted one Democrat, one Republican this year. It means that you guys want us to work together. You guys want us to be civil towards each other. And logic governs, not the party line, you know, not the, and I mean, we don't have to hate each other just because we're Democrats or Republicans. I think we should respect, you know, individuals for who we are, the fact that we care about this town. Yeah, we may sometimes, or a lot of times, differ on, you know, certain agendas. People cannot be same. They have different ideas, they have different opinions. Sometimes there is a constructive criticism, and we're willing to accept it, as long as we respect each other. I think that should be the basis. And I think that's the premise where the Anti-Bullying Committee started. Years ago, before I became a member of council, I was involved with the Anti-Bullying Committee. And at one point, I was a president. But to be honest with you, my experience is not something that was pleasant. I had to step down. It was very political. The committee itself was political. And now I'm a part of the committee member, and I see differences. It wasn't the committee that I experienced years ago. And also there's some problem with the legal basis, because it gives semi or pseudo prosecutorial authority to the committee, where the committee members, they're mostly just, ordinary citizens. Back then, yeah, we had attorney, Mayor Suarez's wife as a chairperson, and also as attorney, I was there. But the legal basis was very confusing. And I'm actually glad, although I agree, I see Colin's points, that there wasn't really discussion about how to change committee. But I think that authority was already given to the committee, and then committee is the one who proposed how to change and the goals, they want. But anyway, I think this is the first reading, meaning that there's still opportunity to discuss before the final reading. This should stir up. People should comment, people should give opinions, and then we should make better out of our own committee. So that's my 2 cents, and I wish happy holidays to all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add into the anti-bullying. So I'm the senior member here on this mayor and council, not just because I'm the mayor, because I've been here the longest, and I'm the oldest, so yes, and you can tell by the hair. I was the first council liaison to the anti-bullying committee, and when Mayor Suarez came to me, he basically said the ordinance was based on a state law that just was written. It was based on a student at Rutgers University who committed suicide, and the state came in, they wrote this law, and he based the ordinance on that. But to implement these things, it was kind of weird that a committee can do adjudication or to give fines. It was always a trouble. I remember former borough attorney Steve Polino would come to our meetings. Steve, may you rest in peace. I hate to bring his name up, but he would tell us that we're not allowed to do certain things. But we kept that, and the anti-bullying committee became more one of awareness, education, which is, I thought, where it should have been, because we're really not allowed to levy fines or anything. And most of the complaints we would get, they really didn't. We got maybe 2 complaints in the years I was the liaison, because most of those complaints needed to be handled by the school. If these events happened during school hours or even after school hours, it was up to the school to take responsibility. And I remember that person that came up, the daughter, and I felt for her, I cried for her. And we did try to do something, but the best we could do as this committee was, like I said, education and awareness. It was really up to the school to do the discipline process. So I kind of agreed with this. Colin, I can understand your point that we probably should have discussed it. I only found out about it this last Friday. We could discuss it at the next meeting. How do we change it? But I think this change for the ordinance is for the better. On that note, I'll end my comments. And why don't we, can I get a motion to open to the public?
Motion?
Hang on, can I say something?
Sure.
Okay, my point again is discussion what we just had, like sharing history of anti-bullying committee. How did they create it? And what is the true purpose of the committee? When why they want to change the identity of the committee. This discussion should have done prior to our voting. As you just the mayor just mentioned, I found out last Friday without hearing this. My vote is as valuable as every single council member. In order to make a right decision, I think a sufficient amount of information should be provided prior to the voting, prior to the meeting. That's the reason why I say I agree with the idea. However, the method of changing the committee's purpose, committee's identity, I couldn't agree with. If we keep allowing this, if the other committee want to change something, we can just vote it without knowing the reason, specific reason, or like history behind. That's what I want to talk about.
Go ahead, Joanne.
Thank you. That's the purpose of a first meeting and putting it in the agenda so that everyone has an opportunity to read through it and bring any questions that they have forward. The same thing for our public, when there are public comments on the agenda. We don't hide things, there's transparency. Also, I want to remind everybody that anti-bullying meetings are open to the public and all council members, although some of us might have to step out if we get so popular we have a quorum, on the first Tuesday of every month, except for July and August, because it is the summer and we cannot guarantee a quorum of members. But anyone who wants to come and learn about what it is that the Anti-Bullying Committee continues to do, which is education and supporting our community to be bully-free, is more than welcome to join us.
Okay, can I get a motion now to open to the public?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, who'd like to come up?
Me. You know who I am? I'm Patricia Congleton, 400 Abbott Avenue, New Jersey, and I would like to make a comment. Well, we changed the ante, and we're discussing the changing of the Anti-Bullying Committee because the people who were on the Anti-Bullying Committee were bullied. Sorry, that's the truth. Change needed to happen. So what we're doing is we're opening this, and by the way, we were lucky that the same 5 people attended every meeting, and there were many times that nobody, except for those 5 people, came. Everybody was welcome, nobody showed up. So we are just very happy. If you had read the rules, what we were writing and how we want to change it, we want to support our community. We are not a legal organization. We are a group of moms, dads, grandparents, people in our community who want to support our schools, our children. I, sir, would have also cried for that child. I know what bullying is like. I have a brother with special needs. He was bullied every day. I feel that. That's what we're trying to do. Make it inclusive for our entire community. Not just the few lawyers or politicians who want to be involved for that day. This is for our community. It's for everybody here who has felt the need to speak up and give it a voice. Thank you, Joanna, for being a strong woman. And I'm sorry, those of you who don't feel the same, but haven't seen you at a meeting, ma'am.
Probably everybody in this room knows me also. I'm Bob Congleton, 400 Abbott Avenue. Look at my town council. I see a few people making eye contact. I see a few people who are staring off into space. I see a few people on their cell phones. You talk about honesty and integrity. Sitting at a town council meeting with your arms crossed. Sitting at a town council meeting holding your head up, not caring. Honesty and truthful is what we expect as a community in this town. We expect our council people to be honest. We don't expect our council people to lie and make up stories and be dishonest in their political ways. We believe in truth and honesty. We believe in standing up for something, because if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. Now, I know at the last council meeting, there were some statements that were made by a few people that were outright lies. That person's making comments again tonight about being honest. This is honesty. No, what you're talking isn't honesty. What you're talking is your own agenda. What you're talking is a person who has a bad attitude towards everybody else. Councilwoman Kim said it exactly. The Anti-Bullying Committee is not there to put fines out for people who do things wrong. We are here to educate people, to help our community, for inclusion. Like last year when we had last spring when we had a function, and not everybody could even show up on time. And then suddenly had to scurry away before it was all over. Pick up your phone again, Councilman Petolios. It's about time people here realize that the community the Republicans, the Democrats, we want a better town. That's what's important. We are working to support our town, our people, our community, our council. Not to be pushed around, not to be bullied. Last year, we all sat in the community center when Mrs. Suarez announced who the candidates were that one party was going to support for the election. And then somebody went off, broke protocol, and decided to run with someone who was not a chosen candidate by that party. How about some honesty and integrity? How about some truth? You didn't get abandoned by your party, you abandoned your party. We don't stand for abandonment. We stand for strength and unity. We stand for our community, our friends. We don't care, Republican or Democrat. We're here for the town. You know what they call me? They call me Coach Pop, because I'm coaching my second generation of kids in this town in sports. I have grandchildren who are playing sports, and I'm still out helping out and coaching because we can't get enough of the parents to come out and help. I was invited to coach this coming year in the baseball season. I've coached football, I've coached track, I've coached soccer, I've coached basketball, now I'm coaching baseball. More than 5 years for each of those sports. That's integrity. That's truth. That's being there for our community. That's what anti-bullying is about. It's not about personalities. It's not about my own agenda. I don't have an agenda. I'm here for my community. I grew up in this community. I watched my daughter get bullied in that high school also. What did I do? I went and I spoke to the Dean of Students. He addressed the issue. The anti-bullying committee can't address that issue. The school has to. That's been said multiple times. This is about our community. This is about making our town better. This is about making our town stronger, including everybody, having everybody be part of what we want, which is a stronger, better Richfield.
Mayor, I have to respond to a couple of things. I don't know what the Democratic primary and politics have to do with the anti-bullying committee. Accusations of abuse. No, I do have time to speak. I'm going to respond. Okay? It has nothing to do with the anti-bullying committee. The anti-bullying committee is supposed to be for bullying. And I don't know why you're throwing this on me. Everybody knows that I was the one that was cyberbullied. I was the one that was told lies about. I was the one that was recorded without his consent. I was the one that they made videos about, okay? And I know who did it. So, you know, that's bullying, and that's cyberbullying, and it's not fair. And, you know, to question, you know, somebody's integrity, you know, I've been up here for 9 years, and it's got to be a reason why. So, and the amount of love, respect, phone calls, messages that I got after Election Day, you know, that's all that counts to me. And that not only from residents of Richfield, but other elected officials as well. So I know I have made a mark. I have been thanked for my service. So I don't need to be lectured by you because I've done the work, and it took a lot of time, personal, business, and my family was hurt and bullied as well.
Go ahead.
Chris Martucci, 589 Prospect, Richfield. Just in general, I wanted to make a few comments since I'm going to be a soon-to-be council member. Everybody's talking about, you know, being honest, and I agree with Kim said, in general, I see a lot of things that come through on the agenda. It's a lot of information all the time. Me personally, speaking for myself, I think I speak for actually everybody when I say, because for a while I was just a resident, and I would expect what I imagine everybody would expect from me is if I'm sitting up there and I'm voting on something, I should vote as if I actually read what it is that I'm voting on, not just say yes or say no or abstain from it. So I just want everybody to know that that's my expectation from everybody and from myself, and I think that's the expectation of everybody. If anybody on the council doesn't understand something, didn't thoroughly read something, or take the time to look into it, maybe there's some things they don't really understand or have questions about, nobody should be voting yes or no until they know what they're voting on. That's how I'm going to be when I'm sitting up there, and if I have a question, I'm not going to act like I know the answer or pretend it's something else. So just kind of wanted to establish that. That's the expectation, at least from me, and working with all of you. Nobody should really be voting yes or no on something unless they know exactly what they're voting on.
Anybody else? Okay. Warren Vincent. And when it just dawned on me, 25 years I've been speaking at mayor and council meetings. And I just want to say this to everyone. Have a Merry Christmas. And I'm going to see you at all the events, as I always do. And Happy New Year.
Don't you go anywhere, Warren. We need you back next year.
Merry Christmas. Anybody want to come up and up Warren on the speech? All right, can I get a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Motion.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Garcia.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to ask for a motion in a second. I'm going to ask for a motion in a second to go into closed session, where we're going to discuss two agreements, both relating to our litigation seeking determination that we've complied with our fourth round affordable housing obligations. There's two challenges to that declaratory action. One is BNR Investors and the other is Fair Share Housing. So we're going to talk about agreements to resolve both of those disputes in closed session. Okay. We will hopefully, Warren, come out and take action.
You will?
I hope so.
Should I go home and come back?
Dear God, I hope not.
Bring back liquor.
Tequila.
Okay, motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Okay, let's do